Yo, what's good, Spirit Squad? Or should I say Fish Fam? Because today we're going to be playing a little bit of Merfolk in Legacy in a preliminary event here. Mostly because it's going to be firing in the middle of the night. I'm awake in the middle of the night, so here we are. Anyway, this is going to be the same list as what we played in Eternal Weekend a few weeks back. And I like a lot of where this is going. I think that a list with just a crap ton of basics is pretty well positioned in a format that's full of like Ragavan plus Wasteland decks, a bunch of land lists that are playing Life in the Loam plus Wasteland, and even like the 4-color control lists are playing a couple of Wastelands. So just having a giant pile of basics, I think, is a pretty great place to be. And you'll see that from a lot of people who are playing things like blue-white decks and other things with just like as many basics as they think they can afford to jam in, or like Death and Taxes, which plays like 20 basic planes. Same principles here. But also, we get to play 4 copies of Cavern of Souls, which is super lit, especially since we get to play things like Tide Shaper to turn off your opponents like Urza Sagas in the case of playing against things like 8 cast. So we have some Force of Wills, some Dazes, and these are going to be our protection suite against spells, against lands. We've got Tide Shapers, and even a couple of Rishadan Dock hands. So in Eternal Weekend, we didn't play the Rishadan Dock hands, and I both wanted something to potentially turn off lands anyway, but also I just wanted some more 1-drops to make the deck more aggressive. As we see a lot of times in Spirits where we play Spectral Sailor, we want to make sure that we're actually doing something starting on turn 1, because even more so than Modern, Legacy is a really powerful format, and giving your opponent time to just like, be alive and participate, not really where you want to be in life when you're doing probably the most fair win condition in the entire game, just attacking for chunks of 2 and 3 at a time. So having a 1-drop versus not having a 1-drop is pretty night and day in these decks. So I'm playing 2 copies of Rishadan Dockhand as well. We're playing 3 copies of Chalice of the Void, and this is just going to be, Slam Chalice on 0 against really busted decks, Slam Chalice on 1 against decks with a lot of Lightning Bolts or Swords to Plowshares, and, well, easy peasy, it's been good for like 20 years. Everything else, though, is just here to either be a busted merfolk, so you get the unblockable thing in a format where almost everybody's on islands, or you get a lot of things that replace themselves, like Silvergill Adept and Sveilun. So we get to have a lot of accidental card draw in the deck as well in 6 merfolk that get to replace themselves. True Name Nemesis, basically a Modern Horizons 2 card. There's nothing really that needs to be said about True Name Nemesis. The card's busted. That's really what it is. The card's just ultra busted. And then 2 copies of Brazen Borrower, which is definitely fire design, but not quite busted. I think it's like a medium removal spell against things like Merit Lage, Endurances, stuff like that. And it's also a medium threat. But when you put the 2 together, it's like an acceptable Magic card. I don't know that I really like Brazen Borrower. I might take this down to 1. But whatever. Today we're playing 2, so here we are. In the sideboard, there's going to be a bunch of other stuff to just kind of like shore up some matchups. I don't think there's anything like truly super fun or ridiculous or anything here. So there's 3 Grafdigger's Cage, and I think this is going to be my graveyard hate of choice today. So I like specifically Cage because it stops the graveyard stuff from decks like Dredge and Hogak, but also it stops things like Natural Order and Green Sun Zenith. So this is like the most versatile version of this type of card available to the format. We could be playing something like Relic of Progenitus, which does answer cards like Uro a little better than Grafdigger's Cage, because like, a Prismatic Ending can't save you from Relic, but a Prismatic Ending can totally save you from this thing. So we'll see if that ends up coming up. But I still like Cage. We've got 3 copies of Gutshot, and this is a card that's seeing more and more Legacy play. And actually, it's a lot of why I don't really like the Brazen Borrower. But anyway, this thing helps to solve Rags. It helps to solve cards like Dragon's Rage Channeler. It's really good against Elves because they play a bunch of like 1/1s for 1, up to and including like Allosaurus Shepherd. So I think Gutshot's going to be one of those cards that like, yeah, I think 3 is probably the right number. The only real downside to Gutshot is that when you side in Gutshot, it is usually in matchups where you also want Chalice, but Chalice counters Gutshot, so we acknowledge that there is a non-bow there, but since both cards are really good in those same matchups, I don't know if it's not worth playing anyway. So when it comes up, I think I'm just going to keep both in, and either way, if I get to answer like Rags or Darcy with it, I'll be pretty happy. This 2-cop is a Hydroblast here, and these are going to be for the same matchups for the most part that Gutshot are in, except this can also answer your opponent's Pyroblast. So you get to kill Darcy, you get to kill Rags, even if they like dash it, it's still pretty sweet for just you. If you're fighting a Counterspell War over, I don't know, like a True Name or a Sveloon or something big, you can Hydroblast to just kind of like, you know, counter their Pyroblast, or even countering like an Expressive iteration sometimes is going to be a pretty big game. So I do like Hydroblast. I don't know how much I like Hydroblast, but for now, it seems like a pretty decent removal spell. Again, just like having near infinite solutions to Rags is a pretty big deal. Blue-Red Devil just is the best deck in the format. It has been for a while. That's not really going anywhere unless Legacy actually gets a ban list update. God only knows when that's going to happen. So here we are, playing a bunch of cards to help solve Rags. Got 2 copies of Back to Basics, and these are going to be like primarily for decks like lands, but also does a lot of really solid work against like the 4-color piles that are just playing like a crap ton of duels, but no actual basics. Blue-Red Delver almost never actually plays basics, but they also can't really keep us off of 3 lands if we just see a giant pile of islands. So it's pretty easy for us to be able to jam a copy of Back to Basics, and kind of hard for them to shut down Back to Basics if we see just like a pile of islands. So if we can get one of these to resolve, a lot of the times that can just be like game over. We got a couple of Hull Breachers, which admittedly is just me being really cute. I like this card. It's a Merfolk. I want to do it. It's really easy to kill and solve, and 3 mana is kind of a lot, but I don't know, man. I just want to snipe a Brainstorm. Is that too much to ask? I really just want to snipe a Brainstorm. And IRL, I've got 2 of the extended art ones and no other excuse to play them, so I'm playing Hull Breacher, damn it. Force Negation doesn't really need an explanation. And we've got a copy of Kira here, which I also don't really know how good Kira is, just because like in Spirits, a deck where you have access to Shacklegeist, using a 2/2 can actually have purposes other than attacking and blocking. And honestly, a 2/2 flyer is not really that great in a world that contains Darcy. Never mind bigger threats like Merit Lage and blockers like Endurance. But I think just like Kira matching up against Darcy is kind of medium, but the shield that she gives you for protecting like Sveloon against Swords to Plowshares, for example, or like any of your lords against Lightning Bolt, I think it's worth playing 1. If this was Spirits, I would play 2, because Kira solves a lot more problems in Spirits than she does in Merfolk. For example, like if they break her shield with like, you know, 1 spell and go to play a 2nd spell, you can then Rattle Chains and protect her from the 2nd spell. Shacklegeist can combine with Kira to tap a creature. With Rattle Chains already in play, you can flash Kira in an instant speed, for example, to do something about a Solitude trigger. There's a lot of things that Kira can do in Spirits that she doesn't really do in Merfolk, but I think there's a lot of removal right now, so I'm still justified playing 1 in Merfolk, where I would definitely play 2 in Spirits right now, but I don't know. I'm going to play 1 and see how I end up liking it. I honestly expect to probably like rage off if I get her sniped by an Endurance block 1 time and then just like be off the card forever in this deck. But for now, I will give myself a chance to play it and see if I'm just like wrong about my slight disdain for this card. But whatever, we'll see. But honestly, the main deck I absolutely love. So I love the True Name Nemesis. I love the combination of Force plus Daze, especially in a deck with like a million islands that your opponent can't wasteland you to turn you off of Daze. Chalice is just really good. Aether Vial is just as busted as always. So I really love the main deck. And the sideboard, admittedly, I don't play enough Legacy to tell y'all that this is like a definitively great sideboard, and I fully acknowledge that I'm playing 3 cards that I just think are like cute. And we'll see if they actually end up being relevant or good or whatever the deal is, but these are the things that I'm going to be playing. And yeah, let's go ahead and answer a couple of questions, and I will see y'all in round one. Yo, so Guillem Casanova Inguez asks, um, having a middle name Casanova is super sweet, by the way. Little jealous, not gonna lie. Have a question. I've been playing Spirits for a while, and of course following your content to increase my knowledge about how to play this deck. Well, thank you first and foremost. During some games, I'm having some problems with mana drawing. Usually I get without more cards in the hand when it's either in the middle or the late game. Is it possible to fix this issue adding some cards like Welcoming Vampire or something like this? I know it's a vampire, but it allows you to draw cards almost every turn, getting advantage with the Flash Spirits. Thanks very much, and hope you follow, providing as is extremely useful content. Awesome. Well, thank you. Thank you. So glad to have you. But yeah, so this is going to be in the world of Pioneer as far as context is concerned. And Welcoming Vampire is something that I highlighted from the new set when it was spoiled as something that we could potentially look into in either blue, white, or Bant Spirits as a way to kind of recoup ourselves with card advantage. And even though it's not a spirit itself, which means that we don't get to protect it with like rattle chains or anything like that, it does still get pumped up by Empyrean Eagle because that only cares about whether a creature has flying, not whether it's actually a spirit. So Welcoming Vampire isn't necessarily like a liability. And even still, like drawing a card on your turn and their turn every time you play a spirit, if you're playing against decks like blue white control, blue black control, Niv Mizzet, things that are looking to kind of ground you out, then yeah, Welcoming Vampire may very well be the way to go. As far as other ways to kind of recoup card advantage, or at least card parity, all of the other versions of Spirits in Pioneer do have at least some way to kind of mitigate the fact that we don't naturally have a bunch of card advantage. So we have things like Cemetery Illuminator just got printed, and that can provide pseudo card advantage by letting you play cards off the top of your deck sometimes. Cards like Collected Company have the potential to not only give you 2 for 1, but give you 2 for 1 on the board. So that's pretty sweet. And then Mono Blue Spirits will hit you with Curious Obsession, where you can use that to connect with the creature. If you connect with the creature once, then great, you redrew your card. If you connect with the creature more than once, then you have card advantage, which is why so many people focus on killing your creatures with Curious Obsession. So there's at least ways to go ahead and generate card advantage as it stands, but Welcoming Vampire could be, haha, very welcome addition to the Spirits crew. So thanks for asking. Yo, and here we got Callum Smith went 5-2 in today's challenge for 16th place with Blue White Spirits, and this is going to be in Legacy, so big congrats to you for that. Really fun deck to play, and not bad. Very rough build I threw together 10 minutes before it fired, so it's open to tinkering, and then he lists the matchups they played. So we've got 2-0 versus Days Undoing, 2-0 versus Blue-Red Delver, the best deck in the format, so that's how you already know this deck has legs, or wings, or just basic flight abilities, whatever you want to call it. 1-2 lost to 8 cast, lost to Jeskai Days Undoing. 1 versus Elves, which I think is pretty difficult. 2-0 versus Sneak and Show, and 2-0 versus Mud Prison. Okay, so these are some varied and really just good results as a whole. So we've got 7 rounds here. You went 5-2, so already pretty dope time. So congrats for that. And what we're going to do here is actually just go ahead and pull up the deck list that you played so that we can kind of see what you're working with. And since you said it is open to tinkering, we can go ahead and kind of talk about doing that. So here, what we got is a clean list of just a bunch of 4-ofs as far as creatures. We've got Mausoleum Wanderer, Rattlechains Apparitions, Spell Queller, Spirited Labyrinth, Supreme Phantom, and Drog Skull Captain. Nothing cute, nothing fancy. Here's a bunch of creatures, deal with them or else. And then non-creature spells are just Force of Will, Source of Plowshares, and Aether Vial, which is exactly what you would expect out of this. So again, nothing cute special here, no frills, no fuss, no muss. The lands are where I think things might get a little too cute. Here we've got Cavern of Souls, which is a sneezy snap 4-of. Nothing really needs to be said there. Got Flooded Strand, 4 basics in Islands and Plains, a couple of Tundras, and I think I like most of the numbers here. Like Cavern, good. Islands and Plains, we do love basic lands. 2 Tundras may or may not be the right number. And then I think I like exactly 2 Wastelands. Like, this is not a deck that wants to play all 4 Wastelands because we are playing a bunch of 3 drops in a deck. So you will actually need your mana to be mana. And it's not like this list is playing like days or anything where you necessarily need to keep the land count under control. Like, yes, Mausoleum Wanderer versus a deck that doesn't have a bunch of lands in play is a lot better for that. But also, you just really want to be attacking with it. So I don't necessarily think that I would put that as like the biggest concern. My biggest concern here is the 4 Mutavault here. Um, Flat out, I don't like it. I straight up do not like Mutavault here. I don't necessarily hate the idea of it as like maybe a 1 or 2 of, but 4 just hard negative. There's a lot of wasteland in the format, and even though you can protect your Mutavaults with Rattle Chains and or Drogskell Captain, overall I'm just not a huge fan. And there's only 20 lands in the deck too. So when you consider 4 Mutavaults, 4 Cavernous Souls, 2 basic islands, that leaves you with only half of your deck really able to cast things like Swords to Plowshares. And that's a pretty big concern. So if you're playing against decks like Rags and Darcy and Friends, like Murktide Regent, where they have wastelands and stuff, you don't really want to be like setting yourself back on all of your outs versus these things, because like Skyclave Apparition isn't necessarily the most reliable thing against those decks because, you know, it costs 3, they play 4 Wasteland, they're going to get to kill your Tundras and stuff, so you're not necessarily guaranteed to be able to get rid of Rags with a Skyclave Apparition, even though we're playing 4 Cavernous Souls. And if you're playing with half of your deck unable to cast Swords to Plowshares, what do you do when your opponent just hits a big-ass Murktide Regent? So that can get a little scary. I think I don't really want to be playing Mutavaults. I just want to be playing a little more, just stable ways to grab your colors. You know, you'd like actually need to cast your spells because we have so many 3 drops. But everything else I like. Like, I like the exactly 2 Wasteland. 2 Tundra may or may not be the right number. And then just 4 basics and a bunch of ways to get basics. Perfect. Love it. And then out of the sideboard, most of the stuff is actually like what I would do here. So I like the Force of Negations. Hydroblasts are good against the same threats that we're playing Hydroblast against in Merfolk. We've got the 2 Path to Exiles, which I don't hate. A lot of decks don't really play basics, so getting ring of things like Uro and Murktide Regents and having them not get basics that they don't play, pretty good. 3 Surgical Extraction, makes sense. 3 Katakis, there's a lot of decks that play a crap ton of artifacts. Like, you notice that, you know, played against 8-Cast, which is an artifact-based deck. There's things like Death and Taxes that play like Vials and Equipments and Esper Sentinels and stuff. So there's a lot of things that, you know, Kataki has some legs against. There is a Remorseful Cleric here. Again, I think Remorseful Cleric is one of the best things against Uro shells, and we even used to play Remorseful Cleric back when Uro was modern legal. So the idea behind it is that, of course, you can pop it to make sure that Uro can't escape, which is the primary function, but also it's a threat, so they still have to like respect it, because it's still just gonna attack and hit them in the air. And if you can, you know, provide that clock while also answering your opponent's threats, that's a pretty great place to be. So I think I like 1 Remorseful Cleric against things like Hogak, against things like Uro, things where like a Force of Will is usually good enough to solve a lot of your problems, but you still need to pressure your opponent. And Remorseful Cleric, just being a 2/1 flyer, can pressure your opponent. Granted, a 2/1 flyer is not that impressive, but like, you know, that's kind of our entire deck, so... And then the cutesy thing here is the thing that we've got highlighted, Hokori Dust Drinker. So this is a card I completely forgot existed. It's literally a 2/2 Winter Orb on a Spirit. And it's good against things like lands. It's good against things like control decks that want to like tap out for big turns. Like, you, for example, if say you have a Hokori in your hand or something and your opponent's like, all right, cool, so I'm going to go ahead and cast Uro, put her into the graveyard, escape Uro. There's 7 mana used right there. And you're like, all right, cool. Force of Will your Uro, untap, resolve Hokori. Well, you know, what's your opponent really going to do from there? So I understand the logic behind playing it. It's also pretty good against things like just lands, because, you know, they're going to be trying to play things like, say, like Urza Sagas to make construct tokens. They're going to be tapping lands to do things like, I don't know, maybe punishing fire your creatures or something like that. And Hokori making it so that your opponent's life is a little more miserable when trying to do those things. Not really the worst place to be in life. So here's a list. I think it's pretty simple, but again, you did say that you threw it together in like 10 minutes before the tournament started. So congrats on getting top 16 with the list that's kind of cobbled together here. And what we've done here is, I won't go so far as to say like tuned it, but I did make a lot of changes to fix the initial problems that we had. And while I have played Spirits in Legacy in the past to some success, I will not say that I have played it a ton. So here's what I would do at first glance, and this is also open to suggestions. So if you are playing Spirits in Legacy, let me know what's up in the comments. Like, maybe I'm wrong too. So here's my, I guess, kind of first glance, if you will. And what I would do, the first thing would be to, I like the count of 20 lands, but I took out all of the Mutavaults. Like I said, I'm just not really a fan of that here. So we've got 4 caverns, 4 flooded strands, 2 islands and plains. I did like that part. We put in a Caracas because Caracas just solves a lot of problems that the format presents right now. Like, it solves a lot of the legendary BS that decks like Sneak and Show are going to present to you. Like, it solves the Emrakul and the Grizzlebro and stuff. It solves Rags, which is pretty important. It can get like a Thalia off the table, which not the biggest deal against us, but it's still an attacker and we don't want to deal with their attackers, right? So Caracas does a lot of good stuff. Like, it returns opposing Hogaaks to hands. We got 2 Prismatic Vistas because I thought about just playing things like Polluted Deltas, which can get Tundra, but against the decks where we're actually concerned about being able to keep our colors, i.e. Wasteland decks, I actually think I want to be able to search for a basic plains or basic island as I choose. Because if you're able to search for, like, you know, you have a Tundra, you use Prismatic Vista, you search for like a plains, you can now cast Skyclave Apparition, where before you're not necessarily guaranteed to be able to do that. So Prismatic Vista and Flooded Strand, I think, give us the biggest freedom to be able to search for all the basics we need to cast our spells. And the 4 vistas, and the 4 flooded strands can still search for your tundras. Speaking of which, I did put in a 3rd tundra in this deck. So if you're looking to play this deck IRL, I understand that's a lot more money. And I'm not even necessarily sure that the 3rd tundra is the right answer there. So before spending like $500 or $600, however much tundras cost, test it out, see how you like it. Maybe I'm wrong too. And like I said, I think 2 is the best number for Wasteland here, because you still want some number of Wastelands to be able to solve things like Thespian Stage Dark Depths, but you don't necessarily want to be trying to use Wasteland to like screw your opponent out of colors, because we are not a taxing deck. Like, we're not playing Thalias, we're not playing the Rishadan Dockhands and Tide Shapers like we're playing today in Merfolk. We're not playing any of the other taxing effects that would normally go with Wasteland, like Daze and stuff like that. But, excuse me. But I do think 2 Wastelands provides us with enough equity to make sure that, hey, if we draw this and our opponent's trying to like body us with something like Thespian Stage Dark Depths, then at least that little base is slightly covered by having 2 of them in there. And then this also solves other problematic lands, right? Like Tabernacle sucks, Dark Depth sucks, Glacial Chasm sucks. There's a lot of things that we don't necessarily really want to deal with from our opponent's end of things, and having 2 Wastelands can help solve that problem. As for the actual deck, I think the 12 main deck non-creature spells are the right ones. 4 Swords, 4 Aether Vials, 4 Force of Will. Easy peasy, don't really need to mess around with that. The creatures, most of those I think I also like. Wanderers and Aether Vials, okay, easy enough. Spirits, Rattlechain, Supreme Phantoms, also easy enough. Spirit of the Labyrinth, I think, is ultra fantastic in Legacy. Because, like, each player can't draw more than 1 card per turn, and it's a 3/1 ground pounder. That's really good against things like Ponder, a straight up blowout against Brainstorm. But it also stops stuff like Jace the Mind Sculptor. You saw that Callum Smith, he played against the Days Undoing deck twice, and Days Undoing does 0 things against Spirit of the Labyrinth. So that's really nice. If they like tap out all their mana, they think they're gonna get you because they got a Narset on the table, your Aether Vial taps for 2, Spirit of the Labyrinth comes out, and their entire day is undone. Haha. But we're also playing 2 copies of Shacklegeist. So I like Shacklegeist a lot in Legacy right now. Like, I think being able to tap down premier threats is a really big deal. Like, you can tap down Merit Lages, you can tap down Murktide Regents, you can tap down Rags. There's a lot of things that you really just... Oh, you can tap down Uro. Duh, big deal. There's a lot of things that you can tap down that I think Shacklegeist has the ability to solve, but I currently don't know that I really want more than 2. So I would say start with 2, and then if it turns out that Shacklegeist performs here just as well as it does in Legacy, maybe move it up to a 3rd. The 3 drops, I've gone ahead and reduced a little bit. So the list was playing 4 each of Apparition and Drogskol and Spellqueller. And you're just not really guaranteed to get the 3 lands in a format where almost every deck is playing Wasteland, or is trying to just kill you before turn 3. So I took 1 each of the 3 drops out, like we're playing 3 Captains, 3 Spellquellers, 3 Skyclave Apparitions. But I did add a Kira. Yeah, against the decks that are looking to Wasteland you, a lot of those decks are also playing giant piles of removal. So I think Kira is a pretty sweet one-of to be able to help mitigate that. So like if you're playing against Blue-Red Delver, for example, they're playing just giant piles of removal. Like they have Lightning Bolt and Unholy Heats and Gut Shot. And Kira helps to stop one of those every single turn. So that's just like a super baller life, right? Like, what do you do when you're just like, okay, here's an Aether Vial, here's a Shacklegeist, here's a Kira, nice Murktide Regent deck, you know? What are they ever going to do about that? So that's just going to be a great way to make sure that your life is relatively secure in the removal aspect. And it's not like Delver's the only deck playing piles of removal either, right? Like you play against Death and Taxes, they have Swords to Plowshares and Skyclave Apparition, sometimes even Palace Jailer, and you don't really want to deal with any of those things. You have a few other decks out there randomly playing Skyclaves and stuff too. So I think Kira's going to be in a pretty great spot. I don't know that I want 2 of her right now, especially with 3 Drogskol Captains as well. But I think 1's a pretty good place to be. Maybe a 2nd's warranted. We'll see. But that's going to be what I would do with this deck. And then sideboard, you know, season to taste. Here, what I would do with the sideboard is I think I would first start with the 4th Skyclave Apparition and the 4th Spellqueller. And Skyclave Apparition obviously solves just a lot of problems from fair decks. Like it solves Uro, it solves all of the creatures not named Murktide Regent from the Delver decks. It solves just literally everything in a Death and Taxes deck except Yorion itself in Solitude. There's a lot of problems that Skyclave Apparition solves really nicely. Spellqueller, obviously really good against combo decks. Like we don't want to deal with things like Doomsday, Reanimator, but this also solves a lot of problems from control decks. So there's definitely something to be said there. We can also play like 1, maybe even 2 copies of Brazen Borrower on top of the Swords to Plowshares, and these will help you out with things like Shark Typhoon, Endurance, Merit Lage tokens. So like having a bounce effect is actually pretty decent because you just don't really want your opponent to be able to tap mana and then provide a problem that's basically better than your entire deck. That's just not a good look, you know. It also helps bounce Grizzlebrand too. Like if you're playing against Sneak and Show, they get all nice and empty trying to navigate your stuff. They put a Grizzlebrand on the table, they activate, they pay 7, bam, you respond to that with a Petty Theft, and they're just like, well, shit. Now they're stuck with a Grizzlebrand in hand and not on the table. They draw their 7, sure, but the Grizzlebrand's already in their hand, so sucks to be you. And that's obviously a pretty nice place to put your opponent. So maybe a Brazen Borrower or even 2 is warranted somewhere in this list. The only thing I don't like about Brazen Borrower, like I said before, is the fact that the creature part of Brazen Borrower is weak to Gut Shot, and you can't protect it with Rattle Chains in this deck. So, you know, checks and balances, I guess. I think I would also play, I do like the Katakis here. So there were Katakis in the sideboard. I don't know that 3 is the right number. 3 might be too many, but you do want to see Gut Shot, so maybe. Just like the Merfolk list, I think I would play Gut Shot ourselves in here. Even though we can't tap for red mana, I still think Gut Shot is worth. Like it helps against elves, it helps against Rags and Darcy. It helps against like moms, which is really nice. There's a lot of things that have 1 toughness that you just really don't want to look at. And I think Gut Shot helps solve that problem nicely. So that's what I think I would do with this deck as far as a starting point. So congrats once again on your finish, and good luck if you play the deck again. Ooh, round 1, we get the die roll, so that's pretty hype. And our hand is, not gonna lie, a little medium. I actually do not really want to keep this. Yeah, this is a very modern power level hand, but modern is not what we're playing, so let's try again. This is actually a lot better, like infinitely better. I will be keeping this. So here we can just go ahead, put back the second vial. Or do I want to put back the second island? I think I want to put back the second island. Yeah, I'm here for it. So keep this, ship the island, and this way I can go ahead and play Island Vial if they decide to go ahead and try to Force of Will this, then I have the backup, and I might even be able to Wasteland off of the second one too. So looks like it's actually just going to resolve. So statement goes if they Prismatic Ending, but let's see what happens. But honestly, for what it's worth, I like this much better. Let's see what we're playing against here. Hopefully it's not something like Ultra Busted, because we don't have a Daze or a Force of Will or anything. A Taiga? We're playing against lands? Boo. Hiss. Alright, Caracas down. And that's actually hilarious, because we may or may not be holding a legendary creature in our hand, so that feels like a small got him. So I'm just going to go ahead and do this instead of playing the Silvergill Adept here, because I can just Violin Silvergill Adept next turn anyway. And I'll have 2 of the vials here for effective mana. Now, they can go ahead and just like Life from the Loam this, but I can't do anything about life. And it looks like they don't have Loam anyway, so that's hype. So we're going to take our vials up. Life is okay. We're holding a Daze. Alright, so I'm actually just going to put in Silvergill Adept now because I would like to draw land. We don't get one, but another Daze is actually potentially not even that bad. So let's see what ends up happening here. If they try to Life from the Loam here without making another land drop, I will Daze it. But what I'd really like to draw is... Actually, what would I like to draw? A Force of Will isn't that bad. Oh, now I just want a Tide Shaper. Tide Shaper doesn't do anything with a kicker, so like there's no point to holding the vial at 1. I can just put it on 2 and potentially just draw lords and stuff. Endurance. Get that shit out of my face. Skip the mana though. Let's just move on to our draw step here. Okay. So we are doing the thing. And I don't mind getting in our first attack for 3 here. So now that we're not looking at least a shitload of golems or constructs here, I'm a little more comfortable with the combination of Svelun and True Name Nemesis here. The Daze can do work if they try to cast another spell at us. Okay, can't do much about that. But we also kind of knew that was a thing. So here I'm just going to put in the True Name rather than the Svelun and do the untap. And we don't need to touch anything for our vial, so now it's just always no, always yield. This one can catch a no as well. And a Wasteland on Mazavith. Ooh. So I can Mazavith the Wasteland. I can let the Urza Saga construct trade for Silvergill Adept and then Wasteland it afterwards. Or I can Wasteland Yavimaya and have them on like not colors for things. So I think what I'm gonna do is, well, first and foremost, let's put Svelun into play. This way, just in case we're looking at like, I don't know, some... Oh, duh, this way they can't Mazavith because... Yeah. Because Svelun gives ward. That was actually really good. So now they can't both construct and untap something. So I think I'm going to just get our attack on here. And I'm not going to attack with this just yet. I don't think we need to. Okay. So they can block this Overkill Adept if they want to. They're going to. Okay. And I think I want to get rid of the Mazavith? Or actually, if I get rid of Yavimaya, I don't think cutting them off of mana is a really reasonable thing here. Because if I get rid of Yavimaya, this Urza Saga is going to kill itself anyway. Mazavith no longer makes green, and until they make another land drop that, well, but nah, I don't think that's a good plan. Cutting them off of lands is just like not really the wave. So I think I'm going to Mazavith here. Yeah. So I don't enjoy letting them get like an expedition map or anything. Oh, they just have a crop rod anyway. Okay, fine. Um, oh, I played a Wasteland. Never mind. So here they can go ahead, make their token. Urza Saga gets a thing. Oh, they're just making mana. I guess that's allowed. The expedition map can go and get a 2020 Tabernacle. Fuck you, dude. Are you serious? Oh, why? I mean, we know why, but that doesn't make me less sad about it. Um, all right. Well, that sucks. Um, damn. I guess I was supposed to do the saga. I don't have to pay for Sveilun because I have other merfolk. Um, so that at least is a plus. Oh fuck! I should have tried to draw Wasteland. Um, okay. I should have given myself the chance to draw Wasteland. That was actually kind of bad. So here, hopefully they don't have a Life from the Loam. If they do, then I am kind of dicked, if I'm being honest. Exploration, that's not great, but it's not a Life from the Loam. So still not looking ultra fantastic, but okay, I can deal with that. But let's, yes, give me the option to pay the mana. Okay. Again, I just did the same fucking mistake twice. Alright, fine. But now I have a force and a true name, which means that this is lethal if I draw a lord. So I'm actually pretty okay with this. Like, for what it's worth, this is not that bad. Blast Zone, are you fucking kidding me? Alright. Well, that sucks a lot. Let's see if they pop it now. Okay, no. Okay, that one I am gonna do. I choose you. I feel like they should definitely pop it, but, so what happens here? I can vial in the true name, save myself a mana, but what does saving myself a mana do me? That does no good, so I'm just going to pay the 2 mana and be okay here. And then we'll just go ahead and draw, and they should pop this now. Oh my Lanta, they didn't pop it. Ooh, opponent. Alright, well, let's go ahead and get our attack in. And I have Force of Will. I'm gonna pitch the True Name Nemesis too, so I'm gonna try it. Are you dead? Yes, you are. Sick. Well, that went better than expected. So here I can get back to basics. Force and Negation's pretty good. And do I want to side in Kiro or Hydroblast? I think the answer is negative on both. Things I don't really want. Chalices are kind of bad. Like, I don't know, if we're on to play like a Chalice on 0 or something could catch Mox Diamonds, but that's nowhere near good enough to actually call it a play. And I want all of these things. I want pretty much all of these things, I think. Do I really want all of these Force of Wills? Probably not. Like, Endurance is annoying, but I don't think it's enough to justify all 4 of these Force of Wills when I'm siding into Force of Negations. Like, I love Force of Negation because it can hit Life in the Loam. Force of Will is much less good against that card, but it does hit things like Endurance, so it's still, I guess, good enough to justify. And I don't really want to side out the Dazes. They're not bad, but actually, no. I will do this. There. Because Days on the Draw against a deck with 45 million lands anyway is like not that great. But with me siding in back to basics, I have Tide Shapers for Urza Sagas. I've got Wastelands, so Days is not a blank at all. So let's play like this. Not gonna lie and say this isn't bad. I am very, very happy to mulligan this hand in a second. Whenever our opponent actually makes a choice. Alright, so ship. And this is much better. Not really close either. So I will keep this. And I will ship the true name? No, the Lord. So let's see what happens here. So Mox Diamond. So countering Mox Diamond. No, I think that actually is kind of good. So I will do that. And I will pitch the Daze to do it. I think Daze has like just the least value here. Alright, so let's see if this is like an expedition map or something. Exploration. Annoying. Wasteland. Luckily that's medium useless. Force of Will's not a bad draw. So let's see what happens here. There's a Saga. Okay, so now I would just love to draw like a Tide Shaper here. That'd be fantastic. And let's see if they have another land. They don't. Okay. So I'm still gonna want to do this. I guess I'm just gonna tap the Saga. Like, this is honestly a little ugly. Are you gonna waste me? No. Okay, cool. So looks like you're not gonna get that second Golem out of this thing then, which is humph. Constructs galore. Noted. Oh, crap. Why did I just let that resolve? Whoops. That's on me. Oh, that's so bad. I definitely meant to click the button. I wanted to force pitching true name and just press the button. Oh, that typo's gonna cost me. Oh, that's so bad. At least it was just a Taiga here, but still pretty terrible. I legitimately think I should just pack this up and go to game 3. That was kind of game breaking. You know what? I am, as a matter of fact. So, whatever. Call that a shame concede, but that's what happened. I don't think I change anything, though. So I'm just going to go ahead and resubmit. So, that was absolutely fucking stupid. But, oh, this actually isn't that bad. It's not great, but it's not that bad. Although, I will be completely honest, that is, not one I am the happiest about. We've got a Yavimaya, sure thing. Mox Diamond, you got it. Discarding a Wasteland. And what do we get? We get a true name. Alright, so I want to... So things I can do include just go ahead, attack. I don't want to use Wasteland because I've got a bunch of 3-drops in hand. So using Wasteland as a Wasteland is pretty subpar. Which actually means I think I should just hold back and tap Yavimaya. I don't think the 1 damage is going to actually do me too much good here. But I can potentially do something relevant with that. Give me a Lando. Hey, thank you. Merfolkses. And here I'm just going to start with Sveilun. I would like to be drawing 1,000,000 cards. That is, oh, that's not something you will do twice, opponent. That's upsetting. I'm sorry. Oh, that's why we play 4 caverns. Big old giant oof. They should have just held the same red blast and, you know, killed it. But now I've got a daze. So even that doesn't work. That's just, mega ouch. I'm sorry, opponent. That's, yeah. You hate to see it. Well, as the opponent, I don't hate to see it, but you know what I mean. You hate to see it. Oh no, are we getting a shame concede from opponent soon? What's happening here? They're probably wondering what happened. Question mark? I don't know. Okay. Looks like the copium phase is over, so we're going to go ahead and move over to their turn. If they try to crop rot here, I will be very happy to daze. Damn. Not going to lie and say I didn't want to do that to it. Alright. Looks like this is the crop rot. What are we casting? Exploration? Surely not endurance. I mean, I'll daze it if you have it, but what's happening here? And here, though, I'll be pretty happy if they, I don't know, somehow just like try to jam endurance and don't have a waste, or sorry, don't have a land drop somehow. We do have the plan on of Rashad and Dockhand plus Wasteland. So that's, you know, going to be like the Death and Taxes-esque Port plus Wasteland lock, if you will. I really highly doubt that's what's happening. But just in case, the option's there. Honestly, I really just kind of hope they don't have a Wasteland because I really just want to be playing my own cards. I also hope they don't have a Tabernacle. If they do, then I'll just be happy to pay 2 to keep both of my creatures around and Wasteland a Tabernacle, but that doesn't mean I want that to be the thing that's happening. It could very well be, but I will hold out hope against hopes that this isn't what's happening. Oh, opponent lost connection to the game for a bit. That's okay. So that wasn't copium earlier. That was just like internet being internet. Hey, we're doing something. We are potentially doing something? I don't know whether we're doing something anymore. Okay, so we're finally casting a crop rot. And I can't do anything about that with my days, so I'm just going to go ahead and cry about their, what I assume is going to be a tabernacle. But like I said, I've got the mana to pay for it, so it's not even like the end of the world, really. So they can go ahead and get Tabernacle. I gotta pay with these 2 lands for these 2 creatures. Unless I don't even want to pay for the Dockhand, but I do want to pay for the Dockhand. And I can Wasteland the Tabernacle and then kind of have that problem solved. So that's a thing that's on the table, I guess. Okay, so it looks like that is going to be the play. Urza Saga 2, Obnoxious. Life from the Loam. Blech. Not a fan. Exploration. No, now they're going to get to waste my waste too. Come on, go away. And I am going to pay for the Dockhand. I really want to draw a land here. We did. Okay. So that's not nothing. So here I can go ahead and at the very least tap down the Urza Saga. So like that's pretty annoying, but at least we're not completely SOL here. Blast Zone, another Saga. Ugh, maybe we are. So we're casting the Life from Loan, of course, getting the 3, Wasteland plus something else. So, like, it's not a complete lock, but man, this is, not great times. Not gonna lie. So, what can I do here? I guess my out here really is to draw Wasteland for this and then not worry about these. Is that a feasible plan? I think the answer is probably no, if I'm being honest, but I think it's the plan I have, so. Okay, so we drew a land for the Dockhand. So again, not nothing. Man, an Aether Bio would have been so nice. Oh well, sometimes you just don't get to have the nice things. Don't really want another daze. Okay, so they have a 2/2. And what do we get with this now? A Mox Diamond, okay. Now what? Oh, it's their main phase. They're just casting the Loam. Okay. And is the Wasteland in the graveyard? It is. So double dazing and holding up Cavern to keep Sveloon, I actually think might be worth my time here. Rather than letting them develop just another Urza Saga. No, there's no way that's right. So what happens here? I double daze, and I have 2 draw steps to draw into a copy of Force Negation? You know what? I actually think I should try that. because this is not getting better. So if they have a copy of what am I thinking? Wasteland in hand, or I don't know. Well, actually, Ghost Quarter's fine. But if they have a copy of Wasteland in hand, then it's just, yeah. Then that would have sucked to be me, but like here, okay. So not ideal, but still not nothing. So I can force a will the Life in the Loam on the way back, and they get to make another thing. Ugh. So like this is genuinely pretty awful, but I have routes to being able to, I don't know, potentially resolve one of these True Name Nemesis, and then just kind of like work from there. Actually, I don't know that I shouldn't have pitched a Lord of Atlantis there, but I don't know why he didn't attack there. If I'm being completely honest, he probably should have just attacked, but oh well, not my problem. So I'm gonna let that die and just resolve a True Name Nemesis and go from there. And another Force of Will. Okay, so there's an out. It's not pretty because they can just start ticking up for the Blast Zone, but there is technically an out here. Oh, actually, if they want to keep the constructs, they can't even do that. That's going to be really slow. Yeah. And I can Force of Will the Life from the Loam again, pitching the Lord of Atlantis to resolve the other True Name and start attacking. Alright. So, block one of these, take 5, go to 13, and then have Close to the World's Ugliest untap. Alright, this is our out. Brazen Bower. Okay, so I can use Brazen Bower to also pitch one of oh fuck, I'm stupid. So if I wanted to, both of these are creature type rogues, not just merfolk. So the second cavern actually should have been on merfolk. But like this, there's a slight chance of me being able to get out of this. So actually, it's not even that slight. I can just, we might get out of this. We might get out of this. So I won't lie and say this isn't ugly, but you're saying there's a chance. Woo! They scooped. All right, let's go. Round 1 in the bag. All right, we got round 2 against Stormcrow. With a Q. We are a very, very cool kid. Got it. That might be the most meme magic name I've seen yet. The worst part about seeing Stormcrow with a Q is that I have to assume that Stormcrow, just spelled with a C, is already taken. That's probably what happened here. You know, I'm going to hope against hopes because I don't know this person. I'm going to hope that whoever actually has the Stormcrow name, that this is just their alt account. Like, I hope this is like their Magic the Gathering Smurf. So I hope the same person owns both accounts. And they're full in on the meme too. Like, there's an actual bird up top on their avatar here. I don't know whether that's actually a Stormcrow or whether it's just like, I don't know, Baleful Strix or something else, but it's on theme at least. And I'm looking up these arts because I don't know what anything looks like. So let's see. Is that what a Baleful Strix looks like? No. Does it look like that in a different printing? Not really. Oh, birds this could be. Judge's Familiar. Oh, I think I got it. I think I got it. It's got the same helmet and everything. All right. I think I win this round. Yeah? Judge's Familiar? Is that the same bird? I think that's the same bird. Oh, also, we're no longer playing against that last opponent. So let's get rid of our land sideboarding thing here. Oh, man, I got to find out how to look up these avatars now. I don't know. I'm sure it's a thing. I'm just typing in MTGO avatars just to see, like, oh, it is a thing. Thank you, Internet. Oh, my God. Crowd goes wild. We are so good at this game. Let's go. We are so good at this game. It was a Judge's Familiar. Oh, yes. Oh, I hope I win a prize. I hope my prize is a 4-0 in this prelim. All right. Hype in the comments for Judge's Familiar first try.
Pow! Wham! First try.
Hey, lo and behold, we actually have an opponent now. So I've got Dockhand, Chalice, a couple of Lords, and this is like on the really low end of hands that I think I'd be willing to keep, but whatever, we're in there. Mishra's Bauble, so we're probably playing 8 cast. Flooded Strands, okay. Volcanic. Oh, it's just Delver, okay. I mean, not that I'm happy about that, but whatever, it's what we got. So we're going to play this. We're going to play Dockhand, see if it's actually allowed to block. Oh, nope, it's a dead one. All right, sucks to be me. Got it, understood. So now let's see if I can resolve a Chalice. Maybe we're allowed to resolve that. What got exiled, by the way? Oh, another island, okay. So this on the draw is absolutely miserable. On the play, it's still pretty annoying, but like, it's not just the end of the world. On the draw, this is like the actual fucking worst matchup ever. All right. And they are playing Delvers too, so good to know. So here, catching the Rags related beatdown. Master of the Pearl Trident, okay, noted. Are you actually going to cast my creature? I think you are going to cast my creature. And we're Brainstorms, okay. We found another land. And with that land, we are, yes, you are actually going to cast my thing. Okay, got it. Oh, man. I am going to get dazed into the fucking sun, aren't I? All right, so I have options. If I play True Name Nemesis and it somehow resolves, then I actually think I win this game by kind of a lot. But it's so likely that this thing gets dazed that I might as well hover over the concede button now. Oh shit! Let's go! All right. So now they just like can't attack anymore. They can just cast a big ass Murktide, and that sucks. But like, okay. So you're saying there's a chance. And the best part about this here is that I can actually go ahead and on the next turn too. Oh, that's actually fine. I mean, I don't know about fine, but if it's going to happen, it's going to happen, and I'm okay with that. Oh, I don't hate that. So I'm definitely just going to cast this. And I think my land is better for me? Question mark. So, things I can do. I can just hold the land and use it if they cast a Murktide to untap and Brazen Borrower, holding up a mana for Petty Theft on Murktide plus paying for a daze. I can waste land a Volcanic now and trust my deck to give me another land for the same play. Or, since they let True Name resolve, I can depend on my deck to have, rather depend on their deck to have not given them a counterspell. I can also simply Brazen Borrower my own Masters so that I have additional things back in my hand. I think that's the weakest of the plays. I do not think I'm going to go for that play. So what I am going to do here is just hold this Brazen Borrower. And that plays around them already having a Murktide and drawing into a daze. So let's see if that's what ends up happening here. They have a Darcy, sure thing. And honestly, if it's like just a Darcy, then I think I'm pretty okay with that. So I'm just going to untap here. And it was an island. Okay, okay. So here, I think my answer is to simply not do or cast anything. Because I've got the Aether Vial to do like a lot of the legwork here of trying to... So they're going to brainstorm with that. I don't think I mind. They put a Wasteland into their graveyard, sure. So I don't think there's any chance of me sticking them on lands. But if they're not playing basics, we've already... Oh, no, that's only 3 of their Volcanics. Never mind. I was going to say, if they're not playing basics, then this might actually keep them like relatively low on lands too. But I don't think that's a real plan. So here, I think I'm just looking to go ahead and kind of hold down the fort until these can do their jobs. And I don't really mind this hitting me once or twice either, so I think I'm actually okay with that. Like, I'm really just looking to do something if they have like a big ass Murktide so I can bounce it with Petty Theft. I actually think that's exactly what this is. Okay, so this is going to work out pretty well for me here. The only way this doesn't is if they drew in their last couple... Was that a 3-3? Oh shit, it's just a 3-3. That's funny as shit. Yeah, they really just played it as a 3-3. Alright, so they must know I have access to Brazen Borrower? Well, I don't think I'm going to bounce a 3-3 one. Let's untap. A Silverkill Adept. That's not bad. I actually quite enjoy that. So now I can draw potentially a Cavern of Souls. Not quite, but still not bad. Okay. Reveal a Merfolk, and I'm going to reveal the Lord of Atlantis. I don't want them to know that I have a master, but I don't mind them knowing I have a lord. And if they want to counterspell this, they don't. Okay. And there's an island. I still don't think I cast Lord of Atlantis. I don't need to cast anything else as far as creatures are concerned. So I can really just kind of do this. 13. They attack. I take 8. Because I do need to actually start attacking at some point in this game. Like, I can't actually let my life total just get down to basically 0. So what is this? An upkeep brainstorm? What was that? A gut shot. Ugh. Gut shotting my Silvergill adept. Okay. To be fair, that's not that much different from a wasteland. So I think what my plan is here is actually just going to be to bounce this. Do I bounce the Darcy because it's a better creature, or do I bounce Murktide because I want to use their mana? I think the answer might be bouncing Murktide and encouraging them to use their mana. So let's try that. And I want to do this before letting them decide whether to put like a Daze or something on top of their deck. If they already have one, I think I'm a little past the point where I was safe. I could have bounced the Murktide earlier, but then they would have been able to redeploy it a whole turn later. And here with Double Lord, what is this? Brainstorm. And if we're brainstorming for a 4-sword, nope, they just had a Daze anyway. All right, sucks to be me. All right, that gut shot's looking real good. Man, so here I have to like block the rags, take 8 damage, and then just kind of like cross my fingers here. Is that what's happening? Is this another Murktide? Shit. I think this is like another just giant Murktide. Oh, wait. Yeah, the first one fucking grows the second one. What am I talking about? I'm just dead. All right, fine. Block some combination of 2, take 106. Actually, it's exactsies. It's exactly 13. It's not 106. But either way, mission accomplished, opponent. Good job. Versus Delver, we have a small pile of gut shots. We actually have a lot of things I like, to be fair. I like Kira. Hull Breacher is actually pretty decent. I don't know that I really want back to basics, but I definitely want the Hydroblasts. Things that I am a little less interested in. Daze, I think not that great here. It's fine, but I don't think it's great. Resolving a Chalice can be nice. This is not a Dockhand matchup. I think taking out Lord might actually be the wave. And I don't know that... Actually, what am I doing? Tide Shaper is actually a lot worse than Dockhand, I think. There. I think that's actually a little better. So Tide Shaper turning things into an island doesn't really matter in this matchup, because like we're not really going with a mana denial plan. Gonna be a negative. Still bad, but much better. Well, if our opponent's also gonna mulligan, I guess I'm more okay with this. So I of course actively really like the idea of having a Vial on the play. Like a Vial there actually would have been good the last game too, much earlier, but obviously we didn't get that. So if they're just gonna, okay, good. I was gonna say if they're just gonna like waste their first couple of turns like using cantrips and stuff, then I'm actually pretty okay with that. So they see my thing. I wonder what they saw. They saw Lord of Atlantis. Okay. So do I let them wasteland me? Because I can just like Cavern of Souls. Yeah, I'm just gonna let them wasteland me. So Merfolk, and I'm gonna play the one they saw. So if they don't wasteland me, then I get to just like resolve a true name. Damn it. But even still, this isn't that bad. Because I can still get the... Oh, that's actively pretty good. So let's go ahead and try it. All right, so now we got Lord and Master. Bolting the thing. So I have options here. Here, I could just Hydroblast this thing, trust my Vial to get me to, I guess, the kind of promise zone. And I actually will do that. Because I can pay for a Daze now, so this isn't really getting better than this. If they have a Force, then honestly, so be it. They do have a Force, okay. And I still honestly don't really hate this. Brainstorm, okay. Yeah, so next turn I can go ahead and just put in this true name and let that thing just do some work. If they have some combination later on of, I don't know, like Dress Down plus removal or something similar, then kind of so be it. What's this? A Darcy, okay. Not really doing too much about a Darcy here. That's false. I am doing something about a Darcy here. I don't think I'm literally going to do it right here, though. Do I want to give myself a chance to draw a land? Or do I want to get No, I'm going to give myself a chance to draw a land. Yeah, they could still have a daze. I was just thinking about the counter spells they played. So I don't want to press any buttons here. I just want to kind of let that chill. So I will get smacked up for 3 here, which is pretty annoying, obviously. But I can give myself to, like I said, draw the land so that Brazen Borrower can just be a petty theft on a Murktide Regent, or even this Darcy. I mean, obviously, I hope the answer is just nothing. But you know how that goes. I choose you, and we are done ticking you up. Aww, well, that's upsetting. I'm going to attack here. And do I hold this back in case of dashed rags? Or do I let them dash rags? No. I'll just hold that back. If they want to dash rags successfully and get it through, then they have to do 2 things like this. And I'm about making them do 2 things. Meltdown, you're annoying. I think what I'm going to do is actually just violin the Brazen Borrower then. And then let them have their meltdown. And I can go ahead and trade Borrower for Darcy. But I honestly don't even know that I want to do that. Like, I can just crack back for, what, 3, 6, 9, take them down to 5. And this is forced to attack, so I can't block, and I'm going down to 14. So, like, I'm okay with that. So let's just untap here. Doop, doop, doop. So you go to 5. And I will cast this, showing you the Hull Breacher. I didn't really want to show him the Hull Breacher for game 3, but, like, you know, the added pressure is really nice. And they're going to daze. Okay, sure. So they did have the daze the entire time. So we called that one, right? And Meltdown's good to... Oh, hell yeah. All right, even better. I do like it when opponents just are on the crap, I can't do anything about this life. So I think I'm going to keep this exactly as is. Do I want to make any changes to allow for them being on the play? The answer is actually yes. So I'm actually going to take out Lord of Atlantis here and put Tide Shapers back in, simply because they have the ability to block rags on the play. And the rest of this I'm going to keep as is. So let's just go ahead and submit here. Like, I don't think Tide Shaper is actually good in this matchup, like, at all. But the fact that it can block rags when the opponent's on the play, I think is big enough to give it the consideration. Survey says... So what happens here? I'm on the draw. I have an uncountable Rashad and Dockhand, which is a 1/2 to block rags. If they wasteland me, so be it. If they don't wasteland me, I can draw, play Silvergill, and continue to just hit land drops from there, or I can wasteland back. So I actually am going to keep this one, but I kind of wish I had like a gut shot or something. Okay, that's not a gut shot, okay. And this at least plays around their gut shot, but like, still not what I wanted here. Oh, they just have a bolt anyway. Poop. Oh, I wanted that. I'm going to show you the master. Still not great. So if they have like another lightning bolt or something, then that is going to be really... Come on, go away. Go away. So here, if they don't wasteland me, at least I will get to resolve True Name and put a stop to this BS. Still not happy though. So what happens here? Do we have a Darcy? We're casting Expressive. I can't do anything about an Expressive. Okay. So things that we can do. I mean, I can just like slam True Name Nemesis here, and then Daze got exiled, sure. So I am just going to slam a True Name Nemesis here, and that'll put a stop to this whole rag shenanigans. Bad things that happen, though, are Murktide resolving. Like, that's just not great, and I currently can't do anything about that. And I actually want them to have more of this brainstormy type shit for next turn, because I can untap and Hull Breacher, so that's potentially really nice. I can also wasteland them next turn too, so if they're going to... Okay, they have Darcy, sure. Oh, they only have 3 types, okay. Oh! Well, that's actually pretty nice. So I actually am going to do that, and I'm just going to kind of chill here. So if they try to... Oh, please brainstorm. Please, for the love of God, brainstorm. That's like all I want for Christmas. Damn, no brainstorm. I don't think I should try to get them or anything. I'm just gonna use my mana. Because, like, I can still force pitching the master to protect and then untap and just cast the other True Name. Okay, they also have a daze. Alright, so Hull Breacher's dead. But I think I'm actually mostly okay with that now. It doesn't make me happy, but, like, Andre, no. And I'm not going to play the land here because I do want them to kind of play scared of another force plus blue card. And of course we know that we have the force, but they don't know anything. What's happening here? A brainstorm. Dang. Well, now I want that, whatchamacallit back. The, what's his name? The Hull Breacher. That would have been really sick against a Brainstorm. So they only have 3 types too, which is nice. Like, they need an artifact or a creature here. Ooh, I'm here for that. Play this, gut shot this thing. Yeah, I can just go ahead and gut shot the Darcy. And I'm gonna play this now. If I draw the 5th land next turn, then I can hard cast Force, which is nowhere near a great line, but it is still an available line. So I am going to just do this now. And I'm doing that rather than Rags for 2 reasons. First, if I do this to Rags and they simply have another Rags, then, like, why bother? But also, I'm at 13, and that's kind of important if they get another creature type in the graveyard, and I don't want to let them, like, just start chunking me down. So here, oh no, no, they had a Murktide. Go away. Oh man, that's upsetting. Less upsetting. I can just go ahead and attack them down to 6 and just play this last True Name here, and that will 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, had to count. I'm like, I don't think they can kill me. Oh no, they can. They can play land, cantrip, then Murktide, but they have to have all 3 of those things to kill me with this Murktide, and it doesn't look like they do. So I'm going to block the Rags, take the 8, and we win the match. Whew! Let's go, 2-0. As always, if you like what you're watching, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so that you can know when a brand new video comes out. And make sure to read the video description. That's where all the relevant information is going to be. You'll find things like deck lists, contact information, group info. Speaking of good group stuff, we finally set up a Discord server. So now that we actually have a Discord server, and the link will be right in the video description, we can go ahead and talk about spirits and other decks anytime you want. So if you're looking for the latest tech, hints on your deck, or even things on non-spirits decks, make sure to check it out. Thanks for listening, and let's get right back into the content. Oh my god, I just realized I haven't been talking to y'all this entire time. My microphone was on mute. I am such a moron. Um, I'm gonna keep my hand, but maximum move here. Just know that we were really funny the entire time. Oh, hey! I literally just asked you for that deck. All right, cool, cool, cool. We take those, we take those. So what I was saying is that this is on the like lower to sketchy hands that we would keep here. But honestly, like these are the kind of hands that I would generally be here for. Like drawing like a Force of Will or even Negation would be like not that bad here. But having Cavernous Souls to go with these two, because like we clearly like uncounterable threats and stuff like that, is still pretty baller here. And if I can jam this first, because I want to give myself the highest available chance to draw like a Force of Will to back up these better spells, but still don't really need to give them a chance to counter this, you know? But having like Wasteland, Cavern of Souls, all this good stuff, like this is certainly not bad at all. And there's not really much to do about the Silver Gill Adept, so shut up and let me draw my card. Oh, and there's the Cage for Uro. Okay. So we obviously put in the one of Cage, and I'll be pretty happy to slam that on a table at some point too. So next turn, if they just like spend their turn casting Uro and getting that set up, then we'll have the option to like cast Cage, see if they want to fight over that. If they fight over that, then we can go ahead and just like Carpet of Flowers. Okay. That is one of the cards I would want of Chalice over, but okay. And there's the Uro that we talked about. So again, we'll be pretty happy to just like jam the oh, well, that's obnoxious. That actually fucking sucks. Because now we're not going to get to do the thing. If they have a Force of Will, I'm going to be pretty upset. Like, this deck doesn't play Daze, but I think I should still, I guess, play around it, technically. So yeah, let's go ahead and Cage here. Again, if it's Force of Will, it's Force of Will. Like, I can't do anything about that. All right. But I can take them off of double green. Does taking them off of double green mean anything anymore now? Or should I actually just save the Wasteland as a third land for Sveiloon? I think I should save the Wasteland as a third land for Sveiloon. This does suck if this is exactly Prismatic Ending, blue mana, and then these are green mana. Wait, why the hell am I Wastelanding now? I don't have to Wasteland now. I can literally just see what they do. Or can I? Actually, I should probably have done this on my own turn. But I'm going to do this and potentially shut off 2 colors. If they have, because they're only going to get to add 1 with the Carpet of Flowers. So like they only have access to up to 4 mana this turn. So they have no way to like do something plus have access to, okay. I don't like that, but it's going to happen. Man, Expressive Iteration is such a good Magic card. Like, seriously, who allowed this thing? It's so busted. Yeah, some of these cards opponents playing are, kind of bangers, not going to lie. Okay, so we have another Lord of Atlantis. I think what I want to do here is just jam a Master with Cavernous Souls. I don't want to play an Island, because that'll give them a lot of extra mana. Like, they can Prismatic Ending the Cage plus exile and recast Uro if I do it like that. So I think I do this first. I could also try to just resolve Chalice. I actually think I like resolving Chalice. Okay, and if they have like a response of a Brainstorm or something, then honestly, so be it. Okay. So are you a Brainstorm? Are you? Yes, you are. Okay. And this still isn't like necessarily a be-all end-all or anything like that. But I think this gives me a lot more options as far as just like things to do to keep these on the table, you know? Are we going to resolve that Chalice now? We are. Okay. So that takes off all of the blasts and swords and ponders and brainstorms of the world. They are still going to get to cast like Prismatic Ending because all they just have to do is like put extra mana into it. So that's pretty annoying. But if they don't have exactly that, then they can't use cantrips and stuff to search for them, which is nice. 3 mana, that looks like a Teferi. Are you Teferi mana, or are you Prismatic Ending? You're Prismatic Ending. Okay. Another Carpet. Okay, so they have a shit ton of mana. I'm actually kind of okay with them having a shit ton of mana, just because they can't currently do too much with it. Tideshaper has basically no text, so I'm just gonna cast like an uncounterable Sveiloon and go from there. And if they have like a Red Blast or something, then honestly, fuck it, so be it. I already can't do anything about that. But from here, we might just get to like jam things down their throat. Like they might just be stuck trying to churn through their deck looking for more Prismatic Endings to do anything about this Cage so that they can Uro. And if they don't see one, then, you know, we might just be doing the thing. But they added a lot of blue mana, which does suck. I don't like that. Blue and red, so expressives, question mark? Yeah. Man, this card digs so deep. What the hell? It's so good. You know, one thing I thought about doing, this is another iteration with the blue-red mana. Oh my god, I'm so mad. Yo, that's so good. That's so good. They have 1,000,000 cards. They actually just have like 1,000,005 cards. Okay, they're gonna get to Wasteland this, which I guess is fine. I want to draw like a Force of Will so I can defend my Grafdigger's Cage. That sucks. Alright, and a library. Wow, that was good. Okay, alright opponent, I see you. Another Silvergill. I actually do like that. I already showed them a Lord. And there's the Force of Will I asked for so nicely. Okay, they're gonna go to 12. So it's not like they can exactly go around, what's the word I'm looking for? They can't exactly go around paying for Life or Sylvan Library here. Like, they're under a pretty considerable amount of duress here. I will Force of Will a copy of Prismatic Ending to protect my Cage. I will Force of Will, honestly, a lot of things. But things I will not Force of Will include the first copy of Uro, Mystic Sanctuary for Prismatic Ending, I assume. Okay, yeah, you got it. So you must have a Ponder or Brainstorm to draw that now. which is actually fine. I don't mind them using a setup spell to still kind of like not be able to do anything with that. Okay, so they do have the Brainstorm. The Brainstorm's going to get the ending, and I'm going to get to hopefully just nug the ending. If they... Oh my god. That's so many cards, though. So if the other two cards in their hand end up being exactly Force plus blue card, I am going to be ultra miserable here. Oh, well, that sucks too. Alright, I cried about it. Oof. Shit. Time to cuss. Time to cuss. We even had the Chalice on board earlier and everything. This is going to be so bad. I don't know, y'all. We tried it. No! Stop doing stuff! Snapback, Red Blast. Oh, man. Fine. 2-1. You got me, opponent. Round 4. Alright, round 4, and we are fighting the reason I don't have a house. Avocado Toast. Ugh. So what do we got going on here? We got a couple of lands. We got a couple of true names, the Force of Will and a Chalice on one, potentially. I actually am going to keep this. It's a little bit of a sketcher on the draw, but like, I don't know, maybe our opponent's playing combo. We've played a lot of Fair Magic today. What is this nonsense? Well, can't waste land that opponent, so let's see if this is just like, I don't know, a Dash Drags or something. No. Are you a Stoneforge Mystic deck? Young Peasy. Wow, hi, haven't seen you in... I can't tell you how long it's been. But I think I'd rather not. So here I'm just gonna pitch Sveloon. Do I let them keep Young Peasy and simply protect the Chalice? That might be better. Let me see. Well, now I've basically told them I had Force, so that's kind of what it is. No, I'm gonna do this, because if I do this, and it turns out they just have like a copy of Prismatic Ending to kill the Chalice anyway, I'm going to feel really stupid. But I think doing this on a draw is probably going to be the best way to make sure that, A, I'm able to play around days anyway, because I didn't make a turn 1 play. Okay, I was going to say, but also I'm probably a little more... I'm still going to play the Chalice. If I draw a Force or... Okay, fine. Okay, they pitched Expressive, so like, that's an alright start, right? So let's see what nasty-ass 3-drop they get to resolve here, or is it just an Expressive of their own? It's just an Expressive of their own, okay. So here, if I draw a Cavern, I'll be super hyped, because that means I can not only resolve True Name, but I'll also be able to, I was going to say, I'll also be able to, is there any chance this resolves? I mean, we saw Force of Will go, and it pitched an Expressive, so like, oh, yes, let's go. If they're playing Young Pyromancer, I don't think they're playing any copies of Supreme Verdict, so I think, we can probably stand to be pretty happy that that happened there. Okay, so they got Young Peasy. You got it. Young Peasy is pretty annoying, though. So they're going to Gutshot my face here, get a token, and Gutshot my face again and get a token. Okay, you got it. Yes, Gutshot my face with the creature deck. Noted. And what's this? Murktide? Boo. Alright, fine. We're sad again. Silvergill Adept. I guess here, like, this is certainly not pretty, but they go to 12. They click attack all. We block Young Peasy. Take 9. Go to 8. Untap. Play 2 creatures. They can't kill either. They attack. We go to 1, and we can potentially win that race. Especially if we see a Lord. If they attack with... Oh, I think that is exactly what's happening here. So we take this, like I said, take 9, go to 8. What? Oh. Alright, well, that sucks. Petty Theft? Oh. Oh, no, we're just going to get to play both creatures. Alright. Did I throw? I did not throw. Okay, never mind. I thought I threw for a quick second. I was about to say, oh god. Did I leave myself with exactly 1 blocker short? But no, I did not. Ponder. Not a fan. Please ponder into, I don't know, like a fucking Narset or something else that costs 3 so I can, like, feel okay about this days. So I go to 1. Draw me a Lord, draw me a Lord. Back. Wait, these have Island Walk. That's 8. Oh, shit. Oh, almost through again. Island Walkers, let's go. Oh, yes. Oh, my God, I almost fucked that up. I forgot they naturally have Island Walk. I'll be honest, I don't know that playing Gutshot in a format that contains... I'm sorry, playing Young Peasy in a format that contains Ragavan because of Gutshot. I don't really know that I like that choice. That just feels like, you know, it's a choice. I think I want Hydroblast. And also I've got the Nambu of Chalice plus these things. But like, I don't know that I even mind that if I get to not deal with like Rags and Young Peasy and Darcy and stuff on the lower end of their deck. So I think I still end up being net okay with this. I could take out Hydroblasts. Yeah, I'll take out the Hydroblast and put in the 2 forces. because this is a matchup where I believe I want the chalices. Like, they have a lot of cantrips and stuff. They have a lot of presumably like bolts to go along with the prismatic endings and whatnot. So let's end and we'll submit. Yeah, because like days on the draw is honestly pretty terrible. I think the gut shot against a combination of what I assume is a Rags and Young Peasy seems really, really good. It's a one lander, but it's an island, so they can't waste me here. And I actually think I'm gonna snap this off. Like, this isn't just like a keep. I think this is actually a pretty acceptable keep. So if I draw obviously any land, this is instantly much, much better. But like, even just like this, it's okay for the most part. So I would love to draw a copy of a gut shot here. That'd be great. Staring down their Rags on a play is always fucking miserable, but hey, legacy, right? So deck, I would like kindly to get a gut shot and then a land in that order. Let's do that. That's not a gut shot. All right, well, I'm gonna try to resolve this Aether Vial. If I get to resolve this Aether Vial somehow, then like Tide Shaper, instant speed blocking this thing's pretty gas. The likelihood of this resolving, ooh, was always 100%. We never doubted for a second. Our opponent never had anything, and we are playing instantly the best deck in any room, and they're gonna take a Rashad and Dockhand. Okay, actually kind of annoying because not only does it have Island Walk, but also it can tap my land. I mean, not yet, but don't you dare prismatic ending my shit too. And Young Peasy. Wow, opponent. Okay. You're a little late. Okay. So I'm not going to get to use that, which kind of blows. But what I can do is still Vial into Tide Shaper. I'm a little sad about not getting to draw the land there because I really wanted to cast the Chalice as well. Especially with the Force backing it up, but, you know, it is what it is. Like, having access to the Chalice here would have been so good. But we also kind of knew that had the potential to happen when we kept this hand in the first place, so like, not gonna say I can't complain, but I definitely did this to myself. So we've got lots and lots of cantrips to go with Young Peasy here. You know what's gonna happen now, the way that we drew this up. I'm gonna actually resolve this Chalice, and then I'm gonna draw a gut shot on the following turn. That's 100% what's gonna happen here. So they're gonna get to attack, and I am going to hope against hope here that I actually get to block and they don't have a swords. Good, cool. Yeah, whatever, you can have that, I guess. Oh, a wasteland. I think a wasteland actually is helpful here because I don't want them to have access to prismatic ending. Yeah, because prismatic ending on my Aether Vial is kind of disastrous, not gonna lie. What's this? Aware. All right. Haha, yes, I'm aware of that. Don't cancel me. Let's go ahead and do this pitching the back to basics. Because I'm never gonna get to cast that anyway. So if this is like a daze, then I guess I'm sad. Oh, fucking hell. I actually think we should just go to game 3 here. Yeah, I'm just gonna move to game 3 here. This is pretty pathetic as far as games go. Alright, I think I want to take the days back now that I'm on to play again. And I still like the rest of this stuff, so I'm gonna keep it. Actually fine. I'm actually fine with this. If they Force of Will an Aether Vial, then I'll have another one, which is really nice. And I get to start off with a land that they don't have the ability to start off with the island, not the cavern, so that they can't wasteland me either. That way I can play this on turn 2, see if I can draw days or something to go with it. If they force this, I'm not even that mad because I have another. I kind of want them to force, if I'm being completely honest. Damn. F6, huh? Alright, opponent. I think that means they're holding the days, though. Okay. I think I just hold off on this. So what can I do? I can simply cast the other vial now. I actually think I like that best. So if they don't have a force, and they F6 through turn 1, so I think it's pretty clear they don't have a force. This plays a little better around prismatic ending, and it allows me next turn to Chalice on 1 and hold up an extra mana. I can flash in Tide Shaper in response to a Rags now, but I don't mind if they want to use a spell here. Oh, that's even better. All right. Merfolk. Boop, boop. Chalice is 1. Let's force check here. Use the Force, Luke. Brainstorm. Okay. No Hull Breacher. Boo hiss. So they have a lot of cards in hand. I kind of spent most of our hand. Now we would appreciate things like Silvergill Adept or Sveiloon to help recover those cards. Because, like, we've got a lot of mana with the Aether Vials in the basics. We've got another Chalice to back this one up just in case this gets forced. But I actually would rather have the Resolve Chalice. Okay, it looks like we're brainstorming again. Like, we're digging pretty hard for a Force of Will here. Oh shit, let's go! And if they don't have, then I'm going to shove in a little more damage. So next turn, what I would ideally draw is like a Sveloon, so that we can start drawing cards and doing all of this really silly broken stuff. Expressive Iteration actually doesn't get them a spell they can cast this turn, which is nice. So that's almost like a turn off. And, oh, haha, an unintended there. But I will be pretty happy to go ahead and, yeah, like they can't cast that Ponder. I will be pretty happy to just cast another Chalice on one. If they have a Meltdown and brought it in, then, like, I don't know, you got me. But aside from that, I think we're coasting pretty okay here. A Caracas, okay. So we're going to take these up to 2 and 3. And Sveloon? A Lord of Atlantis. Also not bad. So I will cast another Chalice on one. Like I said, if they have Meltdown, then fuck it, they have Meltdown. But let's see if they can do anything about this for starters. Okay, cool, cool, cool. And now we're going to do that. Take them down to 7, or I'm sorry, attack them for 7, take them down to 8. And yeah, this is kind of your problem now, opponent. What's the biggest gotcha here? The biggest gotcha is that in their Rags and Young Peasy deck, they have Land Supreme Verdict. I mean, I'd be mad for like a week, but you know, hell yeah, let's go. So 3-1, cool. All right, so that was fun. We ended up going 3-1, which I think is pretty respectable, right? So we did lose to 4-color Expressive Iteration Uro deck, and we did have some things and or stuff to say about a lot of what they had. But honestly, I think this is a pretty respectable showing, right? So like, we won 3 out of our 4 matches, and the match that we lost, we still took to a game 3 and participated a lot in that game. So honestly, if a couple of things had broken our way, we could have had a pretty great 4-0 from Merfolk, and I think that means that this deck is definitely strong. Like our last showing with it, we ended up getting top 32 at Eternal Weekend. Here, we had a 3-1 in a prelim event that could have very easily been a 4-0, and I think that means that this is going to be something worth pursuing. I like this deck. So some things that I think I would change here versus what we did in the main deck. So here, I think I like the fact that the Rashad and Dockhands just being 1-drops was actually relevant and good pretty much all tournament, as y'all saw. Just the ability to have a turn 1 attacker versus like almost definitely not getting to play a creature until turn 2 is pretty much night and day. Like we already compared that to Spectral Sailor earlier, and kind of the same principle applies. Rashad and Dockhand is not necessarily like the best threat, but it is still a threat that's pretty early, and the ability isn't irrelevant. Turning off lands like Urza Saga and stuff is pretty good sometimes, you know? Like the combination of Rashad and Dockhand, Tideshaper, and Wasteland makes for a pretty good like Death and Taxes-esque controlling plan against the lands. And we had a lot of things here that ended up just being either really good or really bad at a lot of points in the games. So like the giant pile of islands, we were definitely right about that, because like our opponents, oh yeah, 4 for 4. We played against 4 Wasteland decks. So playing just a giant pile of 12 islands was exactly the right play for us. Like we just wanted to make sure that, hey, your opponents can't just like stone shut you off of your lands because they saw Wastelands and potentially Life from the Loams to get them back, or Wasteland plus Days to keep you off of spells. And that was never really a thing that our opponents got to do, because of the fact that we're able to just kind of chill and play things like, you know, here's an island, here's an Aether Vial, nice Wasteland plan, opponent, you know? So that worked out pretty well for us, and that was kind of awesome. I do like the 3 Dazes. I don't know if I like them a ton. Like, I could see myself playing a list without Daze in the future, if I'm being completely honest. But I could also see myself playing a 4th Daze. So we'll kind of see where that goes in the future here. Things that I don't like in the main deck, I don't necessarily know that this deck really needs a second copy of Brazen Borrower. I do like the first one, because it still answers things like Merit Lage. It still answers things like Endurance when you don't have a Lord out, or if they simply don't have an island out. but I don't really know that we need two of those, especially since we don't have things like cantrips. Like we don't have ponder and brainstorm and stuff to find it anyway. So it's not like it's necessarily a reliable thing to go and get. But we could just play a card that honestly plays a lot better with the deck than like Brazen Bower. And this is where we enter the territory of either entertaining cards like Merfolk Trickster or Harbinger of the Tides. We could entertain playing like a third copy of Rishadan Dockhand so that we have a higher density of 1-drop threats. We could play a fourth Daze so that we have 8 counterspells in the main. Any of those things I think would be a at least reasonable substitute for a second Brazen Borrower that ended up being honestly really medium the entire time. Like, I don't think it was relevant as a creature more than once. And also, we're in a world where, like, a lot of people are playing Gut Shot to answer cards like Rags and Darcy. And I think playing a 3-mana card that is answered by Gut Shot is not where I want to be right now. So I was a little sketchy on the Borrower before, and now that we actually got to play with it and we saw some hands with it, I'm actually sketchier on it now. So I think that I would trim one of these Brazen Borrowers. I'm going to keep the other. I want to keep one in because I still like having an answer to Merit Lage. And I understand that one answer in a deck without Brainstorm and Ponder is like, you know, not exactly where we want to be. But, you know, we play one of fun of sometimes. So if I were to take this deck seriously again, I think I would just straight up not try to play the second Brazen Borrower. And I would put that in favor of probably a fourth Daze. No, I don't even know that I really like 4 Dazes either. I don't know. I'll ponder that spot and kind of see what I want to do with it. In the sideboard, though, this is where I think I would make the most changes. So, as we saw, the Hull Breachers and Akira were honestly more cute than good. And we did kind of call that being a thing that could potentially happen. And like I said, I'm literally only playing Hull Breacher right now because I like it, not because I think it's like an actual good solve all. Even when your opponents are playing things like 8 casts and you can snipe Brainstorms, I think that's just like way too cute if I'm being completely honest. So what I think I would do with those spots is, well, the real answer is take a lot longer than a couple of seconds talking to y'all about it to decide what I want to do with these spots. But I definitely want to do something else with these spots. So these can be spots that if I want to answer cards like Cauldron Complete, answer cards like Merit Lage, stuff like that, then this is where things like either Merfolk Trickster or Harbinger of the Tides could come in. It also solves cards like Darcy and Rags pretty nicely. You can bounce things like opponents' Murktide Regions. So there's a lot of things that we could potentially do with these spots that are not like just 3-drop, sometimes do nothings. And in Kira's case, she doesn't even get unblockable from the Lords either. So like, you know, that's a great way to just walk yourself into a really untimely endurance block. So I don't necessarily know that that's where I want to be in life. I could just like put in 2 copies of the Harbingers or to put 2 copies of Tide Shaper, either way. And I think either way these cards would end up being pretty good and honestly a lot better than some 3-drops. You could also play things like additional counter magic, like we could play Flusterstorm that we're not currently playing. We could play Aether Gust, which I don't know that I really like that, but it's a suggestion. We could also, instead of Grafdigger's Cage, be on Relic of Progenitus, which upsides and downsides, right? Relic is much better against Uro than Grafdigger's Cage is, but you don't get the upside of shutting off Green Sun Zenith or Natural Order. I don't know, with a bunch of gut shots in your deck, that you actually need to be as hard body against elves as I am/was, but that is definitely a thing to be considered still. You know what? Let's actually do this now. So I can slide out these cages. Whoa, Moto. Uh-oh. Is my Moto breaking? It is. And this is one thing that we super love about Moto is quality program, everybody. This thing's been out for what, 20 years now or something like that, and we are chilling on a computer with 32 full gigs of RAM, and I've got almost nothing else open except this, OBS, and like one Facebook tab. And yeah, quality Magic the Gathering program. So I'm actually going to go ahead and kind of call that because that's hilarious. That's a great ending note. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. So we're going to make some sideboard changes. We're going to make one main decks change from this Brazen Borrower to something else. We're going to laugh at Magic the Gathering Online because quality internet programs. Good times, everybody. But if you like what you're watching, y'all make sure to like the video, sub the channel if you haven't already done so, and I'll see y'all on the next one.